What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you found this video, odds are you're in a little bit of a predicament. You have a big exam or some kind of quiz, some kind of test tomorrow or later today or whenever, and you did not study for it yet. So you're cramming. Cramming, we've all heard about it. We do it all the time. I have done it so many times, and I've learned that there is a right way to cram study. And honestly, I've cram studied for so many exams that a lot of them, if you do it the right way and you study really, really effectively for only a few hours, you can outperform people that have studied for weeks if they don't do it right. Because there are certain ways that science has proven people best commit items to memory. And when you follow these methods, as I'm going to show you in this video, your exam scores will go through the roof compared to what they otherwise would have been if, so many people, you're just sitting there, you're frustrated, you're stressed, you're not getting what you need to out of it. But like I said, if you follow these techniques, your exam score will be way better than it would have otherwise. So be sure to stick around for the rest of this video. And at the end, I have a couple bonus tips for you guys on how to better commit items to your memory, as well as how to study. So definitely be sure to stick around for the rest of this video. Let's get to it. So what's going on, guys? I'm Michael Bryan. This is my channel on college and career advice. So if you're interested in college or career advice, maybe you're in high school, you're in college, you just got out of college, you're looking for jobs, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. I have lots of great videos that I think are really helpful for you guys. A lot like this one coming up in the near future, and ones I've already made. So go check it out right now. I have links in the description to other of my videos. Let's get to this video. I know you guys don't have a lot of time. You're probably really pressed for this studying right now. So this video, I'm going to tell you how to study for the exam. So there are 6 steps that I've found from my own experience, as well as from other research, from scientific studies out there that really show what is the best way to study. And of course, this will change from person to person. So if you have another idea, maybe you like note cards or something like that, please comment below and let me know what you think your favorite way to study is. I'd love to hear it all. So like I said, I've done so much cram studying. Every time I have a test, I know I'm sitting there and I think, all right, I'm going to study today or tomorrow, maybe the next day. And then soon enough, guess what? The next day is the exam. So I am studying the night of the exam, and it is really stressful. But the good news is, if you do this, you can definitely get through that. So really, you're probably in one of a few situations. So either one, the best situation is maybe you paid attention in class and you did your homework and you just put off studying a little bit. So now your studying is just going to be, refreshing your brain on what you already know. And of course, that's going to be your best option. Hopefully this is your case. If it's not, maybe you haven't studied yet because it's a difficult class and it's a daunting task just to study, so you keep putting it off. Maybe you just plain forgot, maybe you mismanaged your time, or maybe you don't even know where to start studying. So no matter which situation you're in, I can relate to you. I promise I've been in that situation before. I've had lots of tests where unbelievably hard content, I didn't know where to start, but I'm going to walk you through a quick step-by-step how to get started, how to study, and how to most effectively learn everything you have to so that you can get into this exam, be confident, be comfortable, and do the best you can. So step number 1 in this system is the chapters. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find out what chapters are on this exam, and then you want to just write down, what the titles. If you already know this, good for you. Hop right on to step number 2. If not, look in the syllabus. Maybe look on the teacher's website. Anywhere you can find out what chapters are going to be on this exam. You want to look them up, and then go to your book if you have a book, and just look up the chapter titles. If it's like chapters 1 through 3, just look at each one, write down the title. So this will give you the big overview of what you're going to be learning. And one big thing here, you want this really to calm you down and understand, okay, you only have 3 or 4 chapters. You have maybe 5 chapters. No matter what, you're not going to have 100 chapters to do on one exam. So, when you write these down, you can see, that's actually not that much. Because the big key to studying, one of the biggest things is actually frustration. So frustration is your enemy. You want to be able to bust that right now. You write down what your chapters are. You don't get frustrated. You want to know how much you have to learn. You're going to try to de-stress yourself, and you're just going to go and see the big picture before getting into number 2. So don't forget, cramming is a lot harder for a lot of people because of three big things. One thing is, of course, the content. There's a lot of content to learn, and that's why it's hard, but I'm going to show you how to do that. Number two is time management. A lot of people are really struggling with time management. And number three is probably the biggest one, and that is the emotional aspect. People get caught up, they're really stuck on something, so they're just banging their head against their desk. You're not going to learn anything doing that. You need to calm down, you need to look at the content, and then you need to move on to the next step. You need to just really channel all of your stress and your pressure into focus and confidence. So step number two is time management. Again, this is before we even get into the studying. These first two steps are only a couple minutes. What you want to do now is you want to look at how much time you have. So maybe, you have, it's 8 o'clock at night maybe, and you're watching this video and you think, all right, I want to go to bed by midnight, and then I got to get up at 7. Maybe I'll have a half hour in the morning, so I have 4.5 hours. So you divide the work into these steps. Don't divide by chapter, divide by steps. So you want to say, okay, step number 3, as I'm going to say in a second, is the overview. So you want to say, all right, I have like 30 minutes for the overview of all these chapters, and then I want to get in and outline them all in the next hour. Then I want practice questions for an hour, and then you really want to plan through what you're going to do. So step 3 is the overview of what you're going to learn. This is a great one to sort of get a better idea as you're getting into the content. This is going to be, I love crash course videos. If you know the Green Brothers, go check them out on YouTube. They have some great videos, and really a big thing is they have like a multimedia approach where they have animations, they have, one of the Green Brothers is reading you something, and so overall you have this big mashup of all these different content medias that you can learn, and it really sticks in your brain a lot better. They also plow through it really, really quick, so the content you're learning is really, they call it crash course for a reason, because everything you need to know is just in a couple minutes. It'll be like a 5-10 minute video, and so definitely check those out. They have them for almost every subject out there, honestly. If you're taking a history exam, go check it out. Just type in crash course, and then maybe, history, Civil War, whatever it is you're learning about right now, they probably have it. So going along with this, please be sure to always include many different methods of media when you're trying to memorize stuff. So if you're reading something, you want to read it, you want to write it, you want to say it, you want to have the whole variety of different ways that it'll stick to different parts of your brain, and you can connect it all so that you are maximizing your memorization effects during your time studying. You don't waste time reading stuff that you're going to forget later. And that's another reason you want to be calm, because when you're stressed, your brain is not committing things to memory, it's worried. Your brain is focused on worrying and trying to figure things out and get through things. That is not the key to studying. The key is to relax and just commit everything you can to memory, because you only have so much time before your test tomorrow, right? Okay, so step number 4 is content organization. This one is going to be obviously the bulk of your studying. So now we're getting into what you want to do for maybe a couple hours. This is going to be like the really big part. Now what you want to do, what I personally like to do, is I go chapter by chapter and I read, I outline all my notes. So I collect every type of media that we have for the content that I'm learning. So if there's a PowerPoint from the teacher, if there's notes that I took, if there's a textbook, I go through and I look at all of them simultaneously, and I create an outline. So I handwrite an outline, and maybe if it's like a 15-page chapter, I'll come up with like 2 or 3 pages of outline. This one you really want to focus on like the key words, the key concepts. You want to skim through and ignore any fluff. You don't have time for that. You just want to look at, some textbooks do a great job of bolding words, that are important. So you want to go through and you find a bold word. That's a good one to write down. So once again, you're looking at equations, methods, concepts, big events, anything really critical for this content. And then if you don't know what it is, another great thing to do is maybe you can't find it in your notes or you don't know what's going on, check out Wikipedia. I know in high school they tell you it's not a good source. Wikipedia is an amazing source. It's not great if you're writing an essay, but if you're just trying to learn something really quick, they have wonderful resources. You can just go there, look up literally any word you want, and they'll have like a nice description of it. That's the beauty of Wikipedia. So step number 5, so say once you get through all of your outlining, your studying, and like I said, maybe you want to make note cards too. Once you get through that, the next thing is to do practice problems. Now, this might be one that if you don't have enough time for this and you're going to cut out one of these 6 steps, this is the one to maybe cut out. But once again, you want to probably try to get a little bit of time to do this. So if you're doing a math test, if you're on a science, anything that, or even if it's a concept question, you want to go through a lot of chapters in the back. We'll have some questions that you can go through. Definitely check these out. So this will convert your brain from intaking the information to actually processing and regurgitating regurgitating information that you think is valid. So you can answer these questions. You can get used to not just learning the content, but also using the content. That is a really, really important idea when you're studying. So you want to suck in all the information, convert it to something you can memorize and categorize in your brain. And then step 3, of course, is the practice problems. That'll really push it through. Now, lastly, number 6 is to talk about it. Now, they say you don't actually know a topic until you can teach somebody about it. Now, this is something if you have maybe anybody around, it could be your parents, it could be your brother, your sister, maybe you have friends at school. I personally like to, the morning of a test, maybe 30 minutes before, I'll find other people in the class and I'll teach them what I learned. And so you kind of go through and explain the topics to them. And this will do 2 things. So one, if you say something that's incorrect, they'll say, hey, that doesn't really make sense. You can go back and you can change it. That's a good catch right before you go to the exam. Maybe you missed something, they'll tell you that. And then the second thing this will do is give you the confidence where you say, yeah, I know all this. I just taught them everything I need to know, everything they need to know about this. So number 6, as I said, is to talk to other people and explain what you learned to them. So overall, this is all stuff that you could take weeks to do this if you have a lot of time to study, but if you're going to study the night before, this is the most efficient way to study. Some extra tips I got for you guys. Number 1 is you want to have memory triggers. So if you're trying to learn something, you want to somehow remember it. So that's another reason why you might be saying, why would I outline everything? Why would I make note cards? Why would I do that? And the idea is to trigger different parts of your brain. So maybe if you're chewing gum or you're using a certain pencil, practice like you play. That's what they say. So when you're in the exam, you want to somehow have memory triggers, maybe acronyms or maybe some kind of mnemonic devices that you can recall the information that you learned before. So when you're studying, be sure to, something I like to do is I use like a certain pencil when I study. I use like the same pencil when you take the exam. It sounds really dumb, but there's a lot of scientific evidence to show that using, there are memory triggers like that where when you are using one item during an exam, it can trigger an idea from when you were studying, and that way it'll better connect your studying to your exam. Because let's face it, the worst thing ever is when you're sitting there thinking, I studied this, I know it, what is that word, and you can't remember it. But like I said, if you just have these little memory triggers, mnemonic devices, acronyms, anything like that, this will relate it back and you'll be able to remember as much as possible from when you were studying. So that's all I have for you guys today. Good luck on your exam. Hopefully this video helped you a lot. If you liked it, be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to my channel. And let me know if this video helped you. Definitely comment below. I would love to hear what you guys think of this, anything I'm missing, anything you thought was especially helpful. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.